Is Thorpedo Anna finished? Welcome to Old Horse Racing All the Time. I'm Alan, your host. Well, word circulating in the media right now is that Thorpedo Anna, according at least to Kenny McPeak, trainer, might be finished. We're going to take a look at that. We're going to take a look at one of those articles, and you be the judge. We'll take a look. We'll dissect this and try and read between the lines, but first, coffee. Nice and strong. Starbucks original blend. Yeah, we got that motor oil going this morning. Well, Thorpedo Anna comes out of a clunker, finishing 4th of 5th in her last race. I saw her win a big one at Saratoga on Travers Day, maybe her last victory. And that was a thriller. She really had to work for it. And word out of that win at Saratoga, they thought she might be pointing towards the Breeders' Cup Classic. Then it was downgraded to the distaff. That's like the Breeders' Cup Classic for the fillies. And now, after this latest clunker, Kenny McPeak is hinting at retirement. So let's take a look at this article. This is from Blood Horse. We're going to read between the lines, and you be the judge, and I'll give you my opinion as we go through this. And here we begin. Trainer Kenny McPeak fell just short of formally announcing, okay, so he didn't announce the retirement, just short of announcing the retirement of 2024 Horse of the Year, Thorpedo Anna. October 10th, during his Horse Races Now podcast. Okay, so he did this on a podcast. And here's the words from McPeak. There is a very good possibility that we officially announce her retirement soon. Okay, how soon is soon? Okay, I would be surprised if that changed. Yeah, okay, so he'd be surprised. But Kenny McPeak is known to change gears. He goes, I would be surprised. Okay, racing horses is like surfing, and you're trying to catch a huge wave. Well, we've been on a huge wave. Yeah, she won Horse of the Year, but eventually they come to shore, just like a wave. Breeders' Cup McPeak said Thorpedo Anna, a 4-year-old daughter of Fast Anna, whom he bought for only $40,000, and she won Horse of the Year. Nice. At the Fasig Tipton, Kentucky October yearling sale, came out of a 4th place finish in the October 5th Spinster Stakes. That's a G1 at Keeneland. She came out of the race in good condition. Okay, she came out of the race in good condition. Let's go on. I think this is more mental than physical, McPeak said. I think she's just had enough. She didn't hit her leads right the other day and seems like she was struggling. So horses are living beings, and yeah, maybe she's just not in the mood to run anymore. When they gathered around her in the middle of the turn, she threw in the towel. Bad sign. Thorpedo Anna is a tenacious filly, and she really, she comes on late. She's not the type that throws in the towel on her, usual Thorpedo Anna. And she's only 4 years old. So it's not like she's not even a mare yet. She's still a filly. She hasn't fully developed, but she's already starting to throw in the towel. McPeak added that he did see some indication that Thorpedo Anna might be losing her competitive fire when she breezed with 2024 Kentucky Derby winner Mystic Dan 2 weeks. Now, Mystic Dan, also trained by McPeak, last year, McPeak won the Kentucky Oaks Derby double with Thorpedo Anna in the Oaks, and Mystic Dan, Kentucky Derby winner, had them both. What a year for Kenny McPeak. Okay, McPeak goes on. She has typically owned Mystic Dan in the morning. Okay, she's a filly. He's a guy, male horse, whatever, colt, and she usually dominates Mystic Dan. And she's a better horse on her A game than Mystic Dan is, even though he's a male and he won the Kentucky Derby. Okay, she typically owned him but she didn't during the last workout. The jockey, Robbie Alvarado, was on Mystic Dan, and he thought Mystic Dan was the better horse. Tides of turning, folks. It was not a work that we did anything more than ask her to stay with him. So they weren't pushing her. They just wanted her to run with Mystic Dan, not dominate him like she usually does. We thought maybe it was fitness, but then she came back and didn't run well. And he came back and won the next weekend. Mystic Dan. Okay, now this champion filly is to be evaluated by prominent orthopedic surgeon Dr. Larry Bramlage from Rood and Riddle Equine Hospital. McPeak said this evaluation is more about dotting all the I's and crossing the T's before making an official decision on Thorpedo Anna's future. Okay, so she's going to go get checked out. Now, the question here is she going to compete in the Breeders' Cup and let her really go out on top, maybe win some awards at the Eclipse Awards by winning a Breeders' Cup, and she's won some big races this year, so she might win still best older filly female. Anyway, so let's go on. But now Kenny's talking about retirement. The trainer did say there has been no discussion about sending her to the Breeders' Cup World Championships October 31st, starts on Halloween, and November 1st at Del Mar out of California. She won the 2024 Breeders' Cup Distaff last year. Okay, so she'd be the defending champion if she comes back and runs in that race. Now, that's what this is all about here. Is it reasonable? It is reasonable to say, now McPeak goes on, it is reasonable to say the ride is over. Okay. She has been incredible. Yes, she has. She has more than $5.4 million in earnings and won 10 graded stakes. But as a mare, I think she said she's done. The horse is talking to him, or the filly is talking to him. We are not going to force anything. Good. But now keep in mind, she came out clean in good order after, even though she didn't win, it was like she wasn't in the mood, but she looked good physically and she tested out fine. Okay. Now, the Spinster Stakes, that's the one that really raises these red flags. That was at Keeneland on October 5th. And Thorpedo, when she was on the track before the Spinster Stakes, the timing is good for Thorpedo's. She looked good on the track. The timing is good for Thorpedo's Anna's transition to being a broodmare. So go into breeding, get her breeding rights. McPeak noted, saying she will need the next several months to let down from the rigors of training and put on some weight. Yeah. Horses usually do gain weight once they go into retirement and they go into stud or, breeding. Now they're talking about the breeding. Who Thorpedo Anna might be bred to will be decided by Hill and Sale Farm at Exapa owner John Sikura, who bought a half interest in the champion in August. McPeak said he would favor breeding her to Curlin. Wow, that would Curlin and Thorpedo Anna. Could you imagine the offspring from those two? A couple of horses of the year. Hill and Dale's Elite Stallion, who McPeak bought as a yearling for $57,000 at the 2005 Keeneland September yearling sale. Curlin went on to capture consecutive Horse of the Year titles in 2007 and 2008. 2007, 2008, those are the first 2 years that I started handicapping and playing the races and really got into it. So I remember Curlin very well. He was my favorite horse that year. And he earned over more than $10.5 million, trained by Hall of Famer Steve Asmussen, and in her debut win by Helen Pitts. McPeak had stepped away from training to focus on bloodstock work at the time. Okay, we go on. John will ultimately decide who she's bred to, but it will be exciting because Curlin was my best male purchase, and she was my best female purchase. I liken the mating to breeding like to like. Like and like. You are taking two horses that have similar bodies because I buy a certain hip and angle of shoulder. See, they're looking for all these angles when they're buying a horse. We go on. Because Thorpedo Anna has multiple owners, Hillendale Equine Holdings, McPeak's Magdalena Racing, Mark Edwards, and Judy Hicks, who bred Thorpedo Anna, McPeak said there was a slight chance the filly could go through a sale if not all the partners want to stay in through her breeding career. He added that he's staying in as is Hicks. Yeah, because the fillies, they don't put out, they get pregnant. That takes time. A male stallion, on the other hand, they could breed all day long. I mean, they don't have to carry a yearling. Okay, we go on. McPeak's. Now, here's my take here, what I'm getting from the article. A lot of this article seems to be about breeding here. It's not about I don't see anything leaning towards bringing Thorpedo Anna back in the Breeders' Cup. Personally, as a racing fan, I'd love to see her there. I'd love to see her there. Let her go on top as a champion. She's put up the speed figures, even in her bad races, that she's fast enough to win that race. And just like I said earlier, I saw her win the big stakes race in person. I took video of that race at Saratoga. So that's only a couple months back, right? Has she completely fallen apart since then? Is McPeak jumping the shark, panic, going into panic mode too early? Shouldn't he let her run another race? What do you think? Okay, we'll go on. But they're still talking a lot about breeding here. So that I'm not sure what to think, given McPeak's history sometimes of changing his mind. Let's go on. Let's see if we can glean some more from this. McPeak said he also hoped Thorpedo Anna might be boarded at his Magdalena farm because it is involved in the horse country tours, and he would like to be able to show her off to the racing fans. Noble, that's great, in the future. He acknowledged that Hillendale Farm is a fantastic place for her in the long run. Okay, it sounds like they have her figured out there for the long run. I have seen this movie before, and I know how it ends, McPeak said. I had Take Charge Lady, and then I had Swiss Skydiver. You need to retire them gracefully. I agree there. You don't want to go out on a real sour note, her getting whipped in her final race. Yeah, I think she could win it, but if she's not in the mood to run, how do you know? Yeah, work her out, do something, McPeak. But be very careful about this, because a win in the Breeders' Cup, and she tested out healthy out of the last race, that might boost her value in as a mare. Okay, so we've seen that movie. You need to retire them, Grace. I thought, okay. Let's go. Coming to the end of this here. I thought Take Charge Lady would be the greatest filly I'd ever train, and I was wrong. Then I thought it was Swiss Skydiver. Swiss Skydiver especially was tremendous. And now it is Thorpedo Anna. So this is the crown jewel of his career. Horse of the Year, Thorpedo Anna won it last year. Even overall, the males, the colts and horses, which is a great accomplishment. And I don't see how in the world I'll have a filly better than Thorpedo Anna. I just don't see it. All right. That's where it ends. What is my take? Is Thorpedo Anna going to run again? I'm going to put it at 50-50. I'm going to put it at 50-50. I don't think he's going to be so quick to retire her, considering she came out of the last race in good order. I wouldn't be surprised either way. I'll keep my fingers crossed that she somehow snaps out of it, looks good. This race is what's today, the 13th or 14th, 21. That race is less than 3 weeks away, and the decision's supposed to come soon. Kenny's going to let us know what the future holds for Thorpedo Anna. I hope she runs again, but if she's not fit to run, don't run her. Then I hope she doesn't run. But I put it at 50-50. What do you think? Leave it in the comments down below. Thorpedo Anna, is it the end of the road for her? Time will tell. Thanks for watching, everybody. May the horse be with you.